It started with the sound of glass, a clean, sharp clink, the kind that slices through laughter. He stood, my husband, my soon-to-be ex-husband, and with that charming grin I once found disarming, he raised his champagne flute. "To the woman who's kept me sane through all the chaos," he said. Then he looked at her, his work wife. Laughter rippled across the table like static. I felt it under my skin. He called her his biggest support, his rock. The woman sitting 2 seats away from me, with perfect hair, perfect teeth, and the audacity to smile back at me as if I were invisible. I'd paid for the dinner, the wine, the cake, even the damn candles. When he handed me the gift bag, I thought, foolishly, that maybe, just maybe, there was a shred of decency left in him. Inside was a black t-shirt. Bold white letters, "Divorced and free." Everyone laughed. Even she leaned over and kissed his cheek. And I sat there, face burning, holding that shirt like a flag of my own defeat. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I just placed the shirt back in the bag, set it neatly beside my plate, and said, "Enjoy your night." Then I walked out. 5 minutes later, my phone lit up. 87 missed calls. By the time I reached my car, I already knew how this would end. Because that dinner wasn't my humiliation, it was my curtain call. He used to be kind, or maybe I used to be blind. We met in college. He was magnetic, unpredictable, reckless in a way that made me feel alive. We built a business together, my business, technically, though his name was on everything. That was my first mistake, signing papers I didn't read because love had made me soft. He said it was ours. Turns out, ours meant his when it came time to divide the profits. The first affair I forgave. The second I ignored. By the third, I started taking notes. That's when the pain turned into calculation. The planning began quietly. Passwords changed, emails rerouted, a private investigator paid in cash. Every document, every transaction, every text cataloged. He thought I was still the soft one, the doormat, the dependable wife who'd always stay. He never noticed how silent I'd become. I rewrote the company's ownership structure months before the dinner, legally and discreetly. He'd handed me the trust without reading it, just as I once did. He signed, confident, because that's what arrogance does. It blinds. Meanwhile, I recorded his conversations, the ones with her, the ones where he mocked me, where he told her I was dead weight, that once the divorce came through, he'd be free. That word, again. Free. The night of the dinner was his stage, but the spotlight was mine. Every guest there was handpicked. Investors, mutual friends, a few board members. He thought it was his birthday party. It was actually a board meeting, a final one. While he toasted his work wife, the lawyer I'd hired was already in the back room with the finalized documents. Everything he thought he owned had been quietly transferred, accounts frozen, company rights reassigned. When I walked out, the notifications started pinging. His access revoked, his cards declined, his car repossessed, all within 5 minutes. By the time he ran after me, his face pale and panicked, everything was already gone. He called, begged, threatened. 87 missed calls in 20 minutes. The last voicemail still rings in my head sometimes. What did you do? I did what he taught me. I played the game better. 2 days later, the video surfaced. Someone had recorded that little birthday toast, the laughter, the work-wife kiss, the t-shirt reveal. It went viral. The internet tore him apart. The company board voted him out. Sponsors withdrew. And she, his support, vanished when the money did. I didn't have to lift a finger after that. Public humiliation is self-sustaining when pride meets karma. He came to my apartment once, weeks later. Hollow eyes, stubble. He asked if I was happy. I told him happiness wasn't the goal. Peace was. He laughed, a small broken sound. Then he asked if I'd planned it all from the start. I said, "No, you planned it for me. I just followed the map you drew." He left without another word. I kept the shirt, not as a trophy, as a reminder. It's folded neatly in my drawer between silk and cotton. Sometimes I take it out and trace the letters, divorced and free. He gave it to me as an insult. I kept it as truth. If I learned anything, it's this. Revenge doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't need fire or fury. Sometimes it just needs silence and timing. He thought the dinner was his moment, but the bill was in my name. And every laugh that night was already paid for, by me. So I took what was mine, and left him with what was his.